Floating in Space Station 14 is not a very common sight, and it's not been a common sight for quite a long time, but it is still very obtainable and can be obtained every single round. It's pretty common in game that I see people have zero idea how cloning works, as salvagers bringing the wrong parts to medical, people in medical not know how to set it up, so I'm just going to make a complete guide of what cloning is, how it works exactly, and how to obtain it. Of the cloning parts in the game, all four of these are essential in order to actually do cloning. Technically, you don't need the biomass or claimer, but there's no real other ways of getting biomass. I think you can sometimes find them on salvage, but either way, these three are the hardest parts to get and are the most essential. There is the medical scanner, the cloning pod, and the cloning console computer. The only way to obtain these is on salvage expeditions, period. There is no other ways of obtaining them. The Biomass Reclaimer is required, which can also be found on salvage expeditions, but the primary way of getting it and the guaranteed way of getting it, it is a research under the Civilian Services Meat Manipulation. It's a tier 1 tech, meaning you get it very, very quickly as scientists. Before you can clone though, you need biomass. To obtain biomass, you just grind up anything that has biological matter into the Biomass Reclaimer. I would recommend putting it somewhere there's a vent, so like morgues have vents, but if you can't get access to a vent easily, it's not too big of a deal. You just have to clean up the blood. And all you do is you click and drag soulless bodies into the Biomass Reclaimer, and once it's done, it will spit out some biomass. And it does take quite a long damn time, and once you get that biomass, you have to put it in the pod. 20 biomass is not a whole lot. Of course, though, you can get more biomass, though, by mulching larger bodies like Diana, Space Bears, you name it. Anything that has naturally a lot more mass will give more biomass and save you some time. Okay, so let's move on to how cloning works and how it looks. So, I am a Syndicate agent, and I'm about to get zombified. This should just to showcase how powerful cloning can be. So now I'm a zombified dead Syndicate agent, and typically this would mean there is just zero recovery chance for you at this time. However, let's go over the example of dying. So if I die, and cloning does work on people even who are completely rotted, so they'll clone someone, you take their dead body, and you drag it into the medical scanner. In order to properly set up cloning, you must use a network configurator on the devices. So first, you want to click on the medical scanner, and then click on the cloning console computer, and you just want to connect both of these and click done. And then you click on the cloning console computer, and then on the pod, and you just connect both, and click done. Now, it will say, even though this person is zombified, they could be completely rotted, whatever. It does not matter what killed them. If they have a body to be thrown in there, you can click clone. Once you are being cloned, you will just have you are being cloned. Transfer your soul to the new clone body, and then you click yes. And there will be some time before it actually lets you get out of the cloning pod. The computer would tell you, but if you're inside the pod, you can't see that. It will just eject you, though, once it finishes. If you run out of power, somebody could unanchor you and basically keep you trapped in here. But even the second you start getting cloned, you actually can talk, and you have your original name, and you even maintain your original Syndicate objectives. But I'm not a zombie. This is what makes cloning immensely powerful. And then you just have to take time to loot your old corpse, which then will have no soul. So this can just get thrown back in the mulcher for more biomass. Thus, once you start getting cloning going, it's actually somewhat easy to maintain cloning because you just use the old dead bodies for new biomass. As mentioned earlier, the only ways to actually obtain as mentioned earlier, the only way to obtain cloning is through salvage expeditions. Technically, any one of these biomes can get you cloning. It is a random drop chance. However, you're going to pick grasslands or the snow biome because those two specific generations can guarantee spawn one of the three parts, so that could save you some RNG. What I mean is, I'll take the grasslands one. It doesn't really matter the additional modifiers, just prepare for it. So I accepted a grasslands mission as my first mission, and if I get lucky, we could potentially have cloning good to go on the very first expedition. But on the grasslands, there is the medical scanner, which is one of the three parts. And on the snow biome, there is the cloning pod. So technically, if you just do those back to back, you have a very high chance of guaranteeing 2 out of 3 of the cloning machines that science can't make. Remember, science can make the Biomass Reclaimer. It's an easy tech, so let them focus on that. However, you still may find the board for it. Just keep an eye out. The only thing we need to find is the cloning computer console The only thing we need to actually find is the cloning computer board, because there's no spawn for it on any map. You have to get lucky with RNG. So now we take the disc and we just want to go to the reclaimer. Obviously, as a salvage tech, you're going to have to physically do this. You take that coordinate disc and you put it in the shuttle console. And then on the shuttle console, you go to map, scan for objects, go to the planet, click on it, and FTL. And once we're there, we have to go to the dungeon. The dungeon is west, and we're going to move west and use this as an example of getting what you need. So there's the cloning pod machine board. That's already 1 out of 3. Here is the room I was talking about. This has the body scanner, or the medical scanner. So that is 2 out of 3. The body scanner computer is useless. It is not the correct computer for cloning, so just leave it here. So we have 2 out of 3. And at this point, you could just Fulton the machine back or just rip the board out. I would probably just rip the board out because moving it is really difficult, or just Fulton it to where you got to go. So now it is complete RNG to get the medical, oh, here's another medical scanner. But it's complete RNG to get the cloning board. Unfortunately, since we got the cloning pod board, that's the other one that could be basically guaranteed by going to the Snowlands. So, it's really... Oh, there it is. The cloning console computer board. So, in my very first test, we got a full cloning setup. We got the cloning pod machine board, the cloning console computer board, and the medical scanner. This is why you pick grasslands, because we already have the physical machine. Or if you pick snow, you could have got the cloning pod, and then you would, of course, have to find the medical scanner board. So that's really it. Again, science can make the biomass reclaimer. You also could have found the board. It's possible that the biomass reclaimer board is actually in this map. So really, you as a salvager just need to keep an eye out for these blue machine boards. Those are the most important, and those are how you get cloning in a actual shift. Cloning is still obtainable, and that is it. Thank you guys for watching.